Welcome to Where's Wendy? After the warmth of Cambodia, we crossed into Laos. And Laos greeted us the way this whole trip seemed to operate. With one hand offering something wonderful, and the other hand keeping things interesting. Let me tell you about this hotel, Ban Samvath. I have stayed in a lot of places over the years. Good ones, great ones, a few that tested my commitment to adventure travel. But the first place we stayed in Laos earned a title I haven't given any other accommodations before or since. We called it Hotel Hell. Now, $50 a night in Southeast Asia can get you something genuinely lovely. Light, airy, clean, maybe a little garden outside your window. It can also apparently get you a woman who seemed to have taken a hospitality course taught entirely by someone who had never once been hospitable. She was aggressive, she was controlling, she had opinions about everything we did, including, memorably, whether our door should be open or closed. We'd open it for a breath of air, and within minutes, she'd materialize and insist we close it. The refrigerator didn't work. The air conditioner didn't work. In Laos, in the heat, and there was no privacy to speak of. It felt less like a hotel and more like being a house guest of someone who hadn't actually wanted house guests. You get what you pay for. Sometimes you get a little less. We did not stay there long. One night was enough. All right, so this is our survival beers.
Hello.
Yay. And what did we survive today?
Well, we had a pretty bad hotel last night.
We had Hotel Hell.
Yeah.
And then Cindy lost her cell phone.
Just for a little bit.
Just for a little bit. The nice hotel we went to was kind enough to take us back to the restaurant we were at, and it was there.
Yep.
And so this is our survival beer. Cheers. Oh, now it's recording. Duh. The rest of the time in Luang Prabang, we stayed at the Relaxful Hotel. On the other hand, it was exactly what its name promised. And I want to give it a proper mention because it generally earned it. The shuttle service alone was worth everything. All it took was a text message, "We're ready," and they showed up. No waiting, no wondering, no negotiating with tuk-tuks at 10 o'clock at night. Just, we text, they came, done. After Hotel Hell, that simple reliability felt like a luxury. The moment that really won us over happened when Cindy left her phone at a restaurant in town. Now, if you watched our Singapore episode, you know this trip had a theme developing. Phones being lost and recovered seemed to be written into our itinerary, somewhere between temples and local cuisine. We again used Find My Friends again to track it down. There it was on the map, sitting right at the restaurant. Before we could even figure out the logistics of getting it back, the hotel staff had already sorted it out. They took us back to retrieve it, just like that. That is the kind of hospitality that turns a good trip into a great one. The Relaxful Hotel understood the assignment. Now, night market was Cindy's territory. I should be transparent with you, I am not a shopper. I appreciate beautiful things, I just don't enjoy the process of acquiring them in a crowded market setting. Cindy, on the other hand, was born for exactly this. She moves through a market the way a shark moves through water. Purposeful, instinctive, completely in her element. The Luang Prabang night market runs every evening along the main street. Lanterns glowing, stalls packed with textiles, jewelry, hand-painted artwork, carved wood, silk scarves, all of it. Beautiful. All of it remarkably affordable. I played a supporting role, which mostly involved walking beside her and periodically saying, "Cindy, you still have 3 more countries. You're going to have to carry all of this." She would nod thoughtfully, set one thing down, and pick up 2 others. I said in the afternoon, we treated ourselves to foot massages, which is Luang Prabang can only find along the streets for just a few dollars. A full hour of relaxation and discovered that our therapists were teenage boys, which was, I'll be honest, a little unexpected. There was a brief moment of mutual awkwardness, 2 women of a certain age, 2 teenage boys who looked like they might have preferred to be literally anywhere else. And then everyone just committed to the experience. And one evening in Luang Prabang, we did the thing I always try to do when I'm somewhere that has a river and a setting sun and nothing urgent on the schedule. We found a little bar right on the edge of the Mekong, ordered a drink, sat down and watched the sun go down. The Mekong at sunset in Luang Prabang is something I generally cannot approve upon with words. The light goes golden, and then amber, and then this deep warm rose, and it reflects off the water. And the mountains on the far bank go soft and purple in the haze. Boats drift past with karaoke blaring. We had hired a driver. We thought he was picking us up in a tuk-tuk, but instead he had the nicest, most comfortable, air-conditioned van. To be honest with you, I have been to Kuang Si Falls before, on my trip with Chris. That video is in the playlist, and it's one of my favorites. But Cindy had never been. And there are places in this world that you feel a responsibility to share with the people you care about. Kuang Si is one of those places. If you haven't seen it, it is a series of turquoise pools cascading down through the jungle, each one a slightly different shade of blue, or green, depending on where the light hits. The color doesn't look real. It looks like someone turned the saturation up on the whole landscape. And on the way to the falls is a Bang sanctuary, rescuing some bears living out their days in the forest besides the fall. But the heart of Laos, and honestly some of the most beautiful days of the entire Southeast Asia trip, was the Mekong slow boat. The Mekong runs nearly 3,000 miles from the Tibetan Plateau through China, Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam before it reaches the sea. Traveling, we had 14 people on the boat. It was intimate in the best way, a small group of strangers from different countries, all choosing to slow down together. No rushing, no agenda, just the river. The jungle-covered banks sliding past, the occasional village appearing on the shore. And then we stopped at a village. I had my DJI drone with me. Not the same drone I've been desperately trying to find a charger for since Singapore, which is a whole separate subplot of this trip. And we stopped near a village, I set it up. What happened next is one of my favorite memories from any trip I have taken. The children saw it and they ran, not away from it, towards it, alongside it, underneath it, chasing it down the riverbank, with a kind of pure, unhinged joy that only children and golden retrievers are capable of. They were laughing and shouting and scrambling over each other, trying to get closer to this buzzing little machine in the sky. Here's the part that got me, though. There was a couple of other passengers on that boat had been watching the whole thing, and afterwards they shared the footage they had captured on their own phones. Strangers from different countries who had filmed my drone and these kids, just because the moment was too good not to document. I walked away with footage I never could have gotten myself. We stopped overnight in Pak Ben, a small village perched on the riverbank that exists almost entirely of the slow boat route. It's a one-night town in the best sense. Every traveler on the river passes through, shares a meal, and moves on in the morning. We found a little spot serving fresh spring rolls, and I sat there in the warm evening with the river visible in the distance, eating something simple and delicious. Hey, we're in Pak Ben, and these are our survival beers. Beer Lao. Cheers. Cheers. Stop. We made our way to the Thai border, and I have to give full credit here to the crew of the Nagi. Our boat crew had shepherded us down the river with such good humor and patience. At the border crossing, which can be a confusing tangle of lines and checkpoints and moments where you're not entirely sure which direction you're supposed to, they simply herded us. Gently, efficiently, like very experienced border shepherds. Follow us. This way. No, not that line. This line. Yes. Now your passports. Good. We crossed into Thailand without incident, without confusion, and without losing a single phone. The last part felt like an achievement. Thailand was waiting, and so was the most unexpected chapter of this entire trip. But that is a story for the next episode. I'll see you there. Thank you for watching Where's Wendy? Please like, subscribe, and comment.